Created by a fiery planetary explosion about 400 billion years ago, the Moon is Earth's closest neighbor in space. Earth's gravity holds the Moon in orbit at a distance around 250,000 miles. Its prominence in the sky since ancient times has made the Moon an important cultural influence on the world. Before 1873, Japan's civil calendar was based on lunar cycles. Since their lunar calendar followed the cycles of the Moon, every year was about 5 days shorter than that of our solar calendar. So a 13th month was added every 6 years to make up the difference. Folklore of the werewolf dates as far back as the ancient Greeks. It supposes that a cursed human transforms into a wolf at the dawning of a full moon. However, it was the Russian launch of Sputnik in 1957 that had the greatest influence on human interaction with the Moon. On May 25, 1961, President John F. Kennedy announced before a special joint session of Congress a dramatic and ambitious goal.
That this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the Moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Kennedy's dream was accomplished on July 20th, 1969, when astronaut Neil Armstrong set foot on the surface of the Moon. Armstrong and fellow astronaut Buzz Aldrin collected samples of the lunar soil, set up cameras and experiments, unfurled the American flag, and returned safely home 4 days later. Thus, the Moon is the only celestial body other than Earth on which humans have set foot.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The Moon orbits Earth in just under 28 days, and because of that orbit, the Moon looks a little different each day. Here now a look at the phases of our Moon. The Sun is our closest star, providing almost all of Earth's energy. It is 93 million miles away, so distant that it takes light from the Sun a little over 8 minutes to reach us. In our solar system, the Sun is the only body which naturally emits light, so we can only see our Moon and the other planets when sunlight is hitting them. Light is directional, and just as there is night and day on Earth, there is night and day on every rotating object in our solar system. The Moon is not exempt from the day and night cycle, and as well, the Moon itself is not only rotating, it is revolving around Earth, held in place by Earth's gravitational pull. The first phase of the Moon's 28-day cycle is the phase that we don't see at all, the new Moon. The Moon is at a position between the Sun and the Earth, illuminated from behind. Happening during our daylight hours, we are unable to see the Moon at all. The night sky becomes alive with stars and the planets, not to be outshone by the reflected sunlight from the Moon. Soon the Moon begins waxing or getting a little bigger every day. In the sky it will be shaped like the letter D, with the curvature on the right-hand side. 7 days from the new Moon, we will observe the first quarter phase. Another week later, the Moon has made it halfway around the Earth and will be seen as a perfect circle in the night sky, the full moon. Since the dawn of humanity, the full moon has been reviled for both romance and lunacy. However, its glory is short-lived, as the next 14 days see the moon getting a little smaller and dimmer every evening. From Earth, the waning moon looks opposite of the letter D, with the curvature now on the left-hand side. After 28 days, there is a return to the new moon phase, a cycle which has continued since the moon's creation 400 billion years ago. Phases of the moon? Or did it say phrases of the moon? Well, if it did, here's one from Edward Lear. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a runcible spoon. And hand in hand on the edge of the sand, they danced by the light of the moon. Okay, go find out what a runcible spoon is.